Get everything you need for your holiday meal at Whole Foods Market. Right now, you'll find animal welfare certified rib roast on sale. It's a deliciously crowd-pleasing centerpiece. Plus, save on spiral sliced ham, bone-in lamb, and seasonal produce like sweet potatoes and Honeycrisp apples. For ready-to-eat sides, head to the prepared food section. Done. And remember that Whole Foods Market caters. Order gourmet catering at shop.wfm.com. Bring the holiday magic with Whole Foods Market.
Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we have a special guest here in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Ooh, special guest.
Ooh.
My name is Alex. I can kind of see where I work from here, looking out the window. I work at Balcones Distilling, little whiskey distillery, a few blocks away.
Just a little whiskey distillery.
We're on 11th. I guess we're on 4th right now, so just a few blocks away. Just right down the road.
Yay.
Right out the office window here.
Woo! And we record this obviously in the Alico building on the 21st floor.
Yeah.
So we're so glad to have you today.
Thank you.
Above Waco.
We are really high above Waco.
You don't have a fear of heights, do you?
No, I don't. I travel a lot for
good.
Balcones. Some people know that. Maybe a lot of people don't. But I travel a lot.
Good.
So I've lost any sort of fear of flying at this point.
Good.
I used to not enjoy flying as much, but I travel a lot for educational purposes, bringing Waco to the world.
Yay.
Obviously, specifically Balcones, but obviously Waco is part of that. And we do have a lovely little connection, right? Alico building and Balcones, because we were just talking about this, the tornado. We are also one of the buildings to survive the tornado. And it's our building's 100th anniversary this year.
Wow.
Most people don't know that. Yeah. So we're thankful that it still exists because we live in it now. I guess not really. We're housed in it.
I was going to say.
We're not allowed to live in it.
For legal reason, for zoning purposes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It is a bonded warehouse. You cannot live in it. You can make whiskey in it.
Oh, amazing.
Which is good. But yeah, we've got a nice little tie to where we are here.
The historic purposes.
Yeah, historical purposes.
Well, it's absolutely amazing. And I know you kind of already touched on it, but what brought you to Waco?
So I think that the funny thing is I have a little more of a unique story for most of the guys and gals that work directly at the distillery. In that I live about an hour north of here.
Wow.
I've been with Balcones for just over 7 years.
7 years. Wow.
7 years. This is our 15th anniversary. So I'm kind of in that halfway.
We're celebrating.
Right. It's happy birthday this year for Balcones' 15th anniversary. It's our building's 100th birthday as well. Centennial, I think is what they say. So, yeah. Right. Officially. But I mostly travel for the world of education. So it's a little bit of a benefit. I'm here in Waco a couple days a week. Otherwise, I travel quite a bit for whiskey shows, festivals, dinners. Wow. Obviously, with COVID, that was a little difficult. So, we lived in a world of Zoom, which is a wonderful memory in some ways. So I actually don't live in Waco. I have a lot of ties to Waco. Through friends, family, if you will. But I'm a little bit of a unique Balcones employee in that I don't live directly in the heart.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah,
Not yet.
Yeah. So my wife and I, we've actually looked at a few houses recently.
I can recommend it. But I think for legal reasons, I have to. I might be a little biased.
You have to, yeah. Waco has a soft spot in my heart. It really does. Because again, a lot of my friends, whether they're work related or prior to working at Balcones, still live here, work in areas, work and own small businesses in Waco. But also I got engaged here just down the street.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we were just talking about this, but right down the street, my wife and I got engaged. Actually, again, we were just
10 years.
The dates, yeah, we just hit 10 years, but we got engaged. Tomorrow will be the 11th anniversary, I guess, of getting engaged. It was the 21st of December.
You better do something nice for her.
Yeah. Hopefully we're rolling into Christmas, so we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I can't divulge.
Oh, okay. Can't give away too much.
Can't give away
she
too
might
much
hear
yet.
this. She might listen.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
We'll have to wait, right? 5 days.
We'll give her the shout out at the end too.
Shout out at the end. Yeah. For the women that run the world for us. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. And again, you've been with the Balcones for 7 years, so you've probably seen all of the development, the recent acquisition, the transition to the new facility, as some people still call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me what it's been like.
So you're right. Yeah, there's been a lot. It's overwhelming, not in a bad way, but just in a really constant evolution and development of the brand, the people, the actual site. To your point, right? We moved into the current building that most people might know, the bigger facility, in 2015, rolling into 2016, and I joined towards the back end of 2016, right before we opened to the public. So I've seen quite a few different iterations and development, right? We've added a few new types of whiskeys to the program. We've also done some self-editing, which has been actually very freeing because we've been wanting to do that. We stopped producing a couple whiskeys. We added a beer program.
Yes, love the beer program.
Which is really cool.
2 years going strong, right? Or no, actually COVID. So 3
years
going strong.
Obviously nobody could predict that, COVID was going to be what it was. And we launched it right when it's kind of like March of 2020.
Yeah, that's when COVID hit.
So it was right in that window of time.
Balcones beer. Coincidence?
Yeah, Balcones beer. Yeah. And then of course, to your point, the acquisition, Diageo, a really big
Diageo.
spirits company.
Yes.
They own quite a few different breweries, distilleries, and they acquired Balcones, or acquired us, I guess I should say, about a year ago.
Wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, it's good. It is good for the brand. I think a lot of people, fans far and wide, local, and even our family, is this a good thing? And yes, I think, it's a long story short, it's a good thing.
Hey, once I saw you guys were on airlines, I was like, you made it.
Yeah. So when one of the crazy things, right, is that we've wandered in and out of kind of opportunities that way, airports and some of the lounges, international sides of things. And it's all been very organic. And I think that's the testament to what came before. I've been there, and a lot of the work we've all done, I think, internally to try to showcase just the best whiskey that we can make. Obviously, now we've got the beer program, which is only available on site, and that was by design.
I love that.
We want to focus on beer.
We
want to focus on whiskey.
Yeah. And you guys have rum too.
Quietly, we do have a little bit of rum.
Just a little bit.
Most people don't know that though, right?
Wow.
So I think that's like the fun thing about being able to, for us to chat is to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit and say, hey, we do make a little bit of rum. We do make beer. You don't have to just drink whiskey. Take a tour, have a little bit. I'm
still a whiskey gal. True Blue.
Whiskey's my favorite. Yeah.
It kind of has to be, right?
Yeah. A little bit.
Anytime we travel anywhere, I'm like, you guys have Balcones? You guys have Balcones?
Which is like, a lot of people say, like, what's the best way to support? The best way to support, right, is visit, word of mouth, and ask.
I went to a whiskey bar and they said that they had over 200. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys say you have over 200. I'm like, oh, I would like some Balcones. No Balcones.
No Balcones.
And I was like, wow,
it
rude.
Happens.
Not enough.
No. And I think that's to me an interesting side of this entire industry is that you would think maybe they would, but that's also that fun part of engaging, especially now kind of post-COVID, is engaging with whether you're at a store or a bar, restaurant, is saying like, have you ever heard of it? Maybe you should bring it in. You should try it. But that's one of the biggest ways you can support it is word of mouth. Yeah.
And your official title is like brand education manager, right?
Yeah. That's the yes. The interesting thing, or maybe not so interesting thing about Balcones is that
You guys do a lot of education.
We do a lot of education. We all wear a lot of different hats.
Yeah, you're wearing a hat right now.
I'm literally wearing one hat, right? But we all wear a lot of different hats in that a lot of it's a much more robust and diverse team than maybe a lot of people think. You're like, oh, you maybe make whiskey this way. This is how it's sold. This is how it's marketed. But Balcones is a little more unique, and we have a few more people. One, because we want to support good people. We want to support local opportunities to bring people in. But we have a robust network of people on staff in order to bring a little more of like a hive mind kind of idea when it comes to the creative team and then kind of the network surrounding it. Yeah. So it's not as binary as some people might think. It's like, oh, you have a recipe, you follow it, and then it's done. There's a lot of play and freedom when it comes to production and creativity. There are guidelines, but it's
science, but it's also fun.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's fun. Yeah. We want to try to keep it as fun as possible, for as long as possible. Yeah. So
I love that. And again, even with expanding with the beer program, you guys have had so many opportunities to do that. And then you guys have the tap room and you guys do tours. Tell me about that.
Yep. So the tap room is typically, the cool thing about it is it's open Tuesday through Saturday, noon to 9 p.m. And you can visit. We now have cans to go. This is very new. I'm excited about it. The fun thing for me, I'll be selfish for a minute, is that the beer program I don't have anything to do with, so I get to be
you get to enjoy
fanboy.
It.
Yeah, I get to enjoy it professionally and personally. But we now have cans available of the different beers, which are mostly light lagers, pilsners, maybe some IPAs. We do a little barrel aging because of course we have a few barrels. We have to
use just a few barrels.
Just a few. We have a couple over there. So you can go there. You can try flights of beers. Obviously, try flights of whiskey. You can get cans to go. You can of course purchase bottles, which is really really fun. The law did just change in a good way. It used to be for the last few years you could only get 2 bottles.
I remember that.
Right? Yeah. It's now 4 bottles per person.
Oh my gosh, I'm back in.
Yep, all in. 4 bottles a month per person. It's a recent change. We'll see how that, it won't be a negative thing. It certainly won't, but we'll see how it goes as far as the flow of whiskey. We do have merch, right? And then tours, you book ahead online, and those are Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
And I've done one. It was absolutely amazing.
It's pretty cool. You
get to have a little tasting at the end.
At the very end, you get a little tasting, a guided tasting, guided tour, guided tasting. The unique thing about our tour is that from the industry perspective, it's very much a hard hat behind the scenes tour.
It was really cool.
I love this tour because you're able to see something that's very unique. And of course, this is a shameless plug, but most people don't know we have the tallest stills in the world.
Oh, I did not know that.
Kind of crazy, right? We don't do a very good job because it feels a little braggadocious, but
just a little bit.
But it is super cool. They're not the biggest as far as volume.
You know what they say? Bigger in Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas, right? We can build up. That building is made out of solid concrete. We couldn't dig down, and so the idea was we could build up, right? Yeah. 4 floors. So they are the tallest in the world. They're not the biggest by liquid volume size, but they're the tallest. And there's not many times where you can go to a distillery, really in North America or in the world, where you can actually get as close as you can by walking under them, right, on the tour that usually
that was
go
so cool. I get to go through the little back alley and get to walk through everything. They're like, over here on this side, over here on this side.
You can see process, you can see grain, you can see how we mash in, fermentation. You get to see a little bit of everything. It's a little quick tour.
It was amazing getting to learn about like the blue corn and like how you guys use the Texas corn. Getting to learn about that. Yeah. Would have never known.
Right. And one of the newer developments there is we've used Texas blue corn for a long time. Most people might know that from Baby Blue.
True Blue, my favorite.
Yeah, True Blue 100 is a fan favorite. We're kind of recentering our focus back on malted barley.
Oh, wow.
So the world of single malt, right? Which in America is a smaller category, but we find it to be absolutely delicious.
And you guys just released a new one, right? Or recently?
So yeah, a brand new one for our 15th anniversary called Cataleja, which is really cool. We actually just sold out at the distillery. So this is like a good and bad thing to say.
Yeah, right before Christmas. No.
I know. Which, again, it's a good thing because we sold out so quick. It's a bad thing that unfortunately we don't have any more. We might still have some for like tastings, but no bottles, unfortunately. So go support your local liquor store in the area. But the hard thing about that is that corn grows really well in Texas, barley doesn't. And so without getting too nerdy about it,
get more nerdy.
We're looking to figure out how can we do that more? There is Texas barley grown, but we're trying to figure out how do we get it closer to Waco with maybe eventually partnering with farmers and some of our maltsters. We work with a couple producers and vendors that help with the connective tissue to farms.
Wow.
And so maybe one day we can have Waco barley. We don't know that. We don't know yet. So that's like a early.
Ooh, exciting! You heard it here first.
Yeah. We'll see.
Behind the scenes.
I don't know. But yeah, Texas blue corn, Texas barley.
Yeah.
It's really cool right now to be at Balcones because there's so much forward thinking, especially with Diageo. They're very hands off and they're pushing us to just say, hey, we love what y'all are doing. We want to support y'all in any way. We don't want to mess this up.
Wow.
We believe in y'all. We trust y'all, which is kind of that weird of like, oh, wait. Oh, okay,
We're
great.
Doing good things.
We're doing good things. Yeah, it's a validation, which is when you're focused on your craft, as we like to say, we want to make things meaningful. We want to make something that tastes good. And sometimes we don't ever get caught up in too much of like, oh, people actually like our whiskey. So, yeah.
We're just going to fangirl over the whiskey constantly.
Yeah, and beer.
Yeah, and beer, obviously.
And
beer. The beer, the most expensive thing. Most important.
Yeah, beer's good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, with that, of course, it is coming up on the holidays. I know you guys might have some holiday hours coming up. What do you guys have going on?
So we will be closed, of course, on Christmas to observe Christmas Day. And also, I believe New Year's Day as well. There might be a couple other holiday shifts there as far as like recognize we want to make sure our people get time off with their families. That's important, very important. The best way to keep up with that though is going to be through the world of social media. Mostly, we're most active on Instagram for that. So the Balcones Waco at Balcones Waco is a great resource. We post a lot of the new beer drops because those again are only on site. Holiday hours, special events, like the engraving program that we just did. Little events like that will always flow through the tag at Balcones Waco. We do have another Instagram handle that's a little more of the broader strokes. Yeah, Balcones Distilling is the name of that. That is also on Facebook and Instagram. That'll be a bit of the bigger 30,000 foot perspective on marketing, programming from a bigger perspective. But at Balcones Waco is going to get you everything that you need for what's happening right down the street.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing information on that. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. And now for a word from our sponsors.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany.
And we're the host of By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Hi, and welcome to Bustles and Bangers with your hostess, Rachel and Christopher.
I love it when you say my name.
And you didn't say hi.
I didn't. You just kept going. I'm going to introduce the book. I'm not reading it. It's because I don't like reading.
Girls like cowboy butts, and those jeans don't hide anything. Find us on Instagram at Bustles and Bangers or on roguemedianetwork.com.
Get everything you need for your holiday meal at Whole Foods Market. Right now, you'll find animal welfare certified rib roast on sale. It's a deliciously crowd-pleasing centerpiece. Plus, save on spiral sliced ham, bone-in lamb, and seasonal produce like sweet potatoes and Honeycrisp apples. For ready-to-eat sides, head to the prepared food section. Done. And remember that Whole Foods Market caters. Order gourmet catering at shop.wfm.com. Bring the holiday magic with Whole Foods Market.
And now, back to the episode. And we're back. So we were just talking about all the exciting things that have been building up to the big 15-year anniversary, which has been amazing. And of course, all your involvement over the last 7 years. With that, one of the first questions I love to ask when we come back from break is, what would you like to see more of in Waco?
More of in Waco? It's an interesting question. I mean, I think
more whiskey.
Yeah, more whiskey. I mean, we've had a couple other breweries, or I guess a few other breweries. We're one of the new, I guess the newest, maybe the newest one on the block. And so when you look at it from a liquid perspective, I mean, I think it would always be cool to see other people open up. We do end up getting a lot, and it's not a bad question, but aren't you glad you're the only traditional distillery in the area? Because you have no competition. And in reality, what happens when you have, quote, competition is that you actually start building like a faction, a group of people that are local to the area that can sometimes actually become quite close friends working together. But for Waco specifically, I think opening up more producers, whether it is beer, even rum, vodka, gin,
that'd be
whiskey,
amazing.
It only helps the town with infrastructure, with job opportunities. So it would be cool to see that. I think the other angle of that is, because I do know a couple people that own small businesses, is that I think we're in a really interesting time seeing people come back into Waco that are from the area, or maybe
and that's why you're going to move here.
Yeah. That, theoretically, yes, that is exactly why we would move here. Is that we have friends, and we know people that live here, and most of those people lived other places and came back.
I talk about that literally. Right. I don't know if you've ever listened to an episode, but I say it almost every episode that people always go out, they get their little parts and their little perspectives out in the world, and then come back and bring it to Waco, which is why we're such a melting pot. And it's amazing getting to see the creativity of people bringing things from all over the world back here.
Yeah, grabbing onto these experiences, coming back and saying, how can I take that, learn from it, and then and put a Waco twist on it, I think is really special. And so that's, shout out to, this is a plug here, but shout out to Yaki.
Love Jake. We've had him on the show.
Okay. Yep.
Whoop,
Jake is a good friend. I try to keep that separate, even though I like to tell people to go support Yaki, because it's good food. But I also believe that when good people are behind then good businesses, it's a perfect circle, right?
And it's so important, especially for small businesses to continue here in Waco.
Exactly.
And that's what helps build our community.
Yes. Yeah. So it would be easy for us to say, if we're having folks in to the distillery, because we do have such a pretty robust distribution network, at least in North America. We get people that come in from LA, New York, Chicago, you know, and we want to show them Waco, right? Yeah. So we'll look at, you know, we'll ask them, right? You know, what kind of food are you looking to have? We're going to cater in some food, you know, so maybe we'll work with Corey over at Milo. Maybe we'll get Hellberg Barbecue. I love Hellberg. Oh. Right? I know.
Shout out to Hellberg. We love you guys.
Yep.
Good luck.
I know. Good luck with the rebuild. It's a bummer to hear about the fire, but Yaki, of course. And so we like to support small businesses. No offense to the fast food chains. They don't need our help quite as much as local businesses and opportunities. So I think for me, this is a little more selfish, but I would say I think seeing more people, and I know it's a huge risk, but feel comfortable and confident that Waco is a pretty fun place to be. Yeah. It's halfway between Dallas and Austin. There is a little bitty airport, but it's an easy drive. Other places.
Airport renovation just opened this week as well.
Did it really?
Yeah. So they did the unveiling. It has beautiful art in it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was amazing. So if you get a chance to go check it out, you can actually go and view it now. So if you guys want to go check out the airport, go check it out.
That's a good plug. I didn't know that. But I would say people feeling comfortable with investing, right? I know you're investing in Waco, you're investing in a business, but seeing those ideas, I know there's a couple people that work at the distillery and then some friends that are kind of thinking about a couple other cool ideas and opportunities. So
if you know anybody wanting to start a hot pot business, we need a hot pot so bad. And that's just, again, we were talking about personal ones. That's what I need. Yeah. We need a hot pot. We need one of those barbecue Korean grill places. That is what that's what I need in my soul right now. Yeah. Especially in the cold months.
In the cold months, yeah, which we only have a few.
We only have like 2.
I know, yeah. It doesn't look like we're going to have a white Christmas is what you're saying. Yeah.
It's literally 70 degrees outside right now.
Which I will take it over the heat. I've been in Texas my whole life. I'll take it over the heat. But sometimes it's nice, as long as it's not what we saw a couple years ago. Yeah. The freeze from a couple years ago destroyed the distillery.
Still talks about it.
I'm sure I know the finances from that were not good. But
in this economy,
yeah. The money tree ran out. You know, the fruit. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. And again, it just sounds like you have such a heart for community, and Balcones has a heart for community. I know you guys also just sponsored a park. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So Sealy Park. This is relatively new to Balcones. So it's right down the street, not too far from here. It is 1800 Bosque Boulevard, so just right down the street. And we're beginning to organize cleanup crews to go look at making sure that the trash is picked up and that it's not unsightly. So we decided to do that. That's one small way. We've been talking about the idea of maybe eventually, this is a sneak peek, but maybe planting a community garden on site.
I love that.
One of the things as far as looking forward to the future is we will eventually be we're starting the process now, but it's a long process, right? As you would think, renovation of a house, but renovation of a 65,000 square foot building. We're looking to expand, right? The front of house, the tasting room, the visitor experience, because we know people do enjoy coming to the distillery, but how can we expand that? And one of the ideas is a community garden. We'll see. We don't know yet. We're kind of in the ideation phase, writing it all down, seeing what's available, what can stick. But that is one big one. And so a community garden, a place, maybe a co-working space.
I love that.
Maybe, we'll see. We want to see, how can we get people to come here, but how can we offer something for people to feel comfortable to come here and not feel like it's just for whiskey.
I love that.
Maybe it's for other things too, like beer, like a little bit of rest, a quiet place. Yeah.
And I mean, you guys also have done festivals and concerts and all kinds of amazing things, especially with your big celebration you guys just had.
Yeah, that's the idea of art in all forms has been important to us, right? Jared, our founder, head distiller, he actually studied ceramics.
Wow.
So throwing pottery or building.
Shout out Black Oak Art.
Nice, right? And then Paul McCoy, who's a ceramicist here too, is his mentor. So we've leaned into that in ways in other areas too, right? With to your point, music. So music is big for us. We usually throw a couple of big events a year. We might have one coming up.
You guys do the Surf Waco one coming up that you guys did in the summer.
Yeah, we did.
You guys did your 15th anniversary.
Rum Fest, 15th anniversary. So music is big. Art is big. We art and creativity in any kind. It's not just focused on the creativity of whiskey. So we try to dabble in a little bit of that, support that in a lot of ways, right? there is art in creating food. So supporting small businesses by usually again inviting Hellberg, Yaki, Milo, even our friends at Sendero, right? And the cool things they're doing with the hats and the shirts and whatnot. That usually will culminate a couple times a year in those big festivals, which is really fun to be able to have good food, good drink, good music. So we love that whole concept, and we're going to keep doing that a couple times a year. So TBD on 2024, what that looks like.
And I know you were kind of teasing the big eclipse that's happening here in Waco as well.
The big eclipse,
April 8th.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, April. I was going to look that up. April.
It's a 8th. Monday.
It is a Monday. I can't divulge too much yet, but
you heard it here first.
We're looking at how do we be good stewards of the fact that we have got a big parking lot. You know, the path is right over Waco. I know everybody's doing a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on with Baylor and a lot of other businesses, and so of course we're going to piggyback on that a little bit and have something going on. So that is something to look forward to. Can't divulge too many details yet, just in case. But the eclipse.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, we haven't told anybody. This is literally breaking news.
Breaking news from
Balcones.
The
eclipse is going over Waco. if nobody knew.
If you didn't know.
But
that sounds amazing. And again, it just sounds like you guys are doing so many good things for our community, growing. You guys have Balcones everywhere. That's my goal. I want to be able to walk in everywhere and be like, hi, yes, please give me a Balcones, and be able to get it and be happy.
Can I have
and then share the love. Yes, please. But yeah, and of course, it sounds like you have an amazing team behind you that has helped build this community.
Sure.
Is there anybody you would like to shout out that's helped you along this journey?
I mean, it is, and kind of pointing back to something we talked about earlier, but it really is a collective group of empowering people at the distillery, whether it's in the front of house, Kukla, Jessica, Dawn, who runs the bar program, makes amazing drinks. A little bit more on kind of the liquid and creative marketing side, at least locally. Jared, Gabe, and myself kind of spearhead that in ways that ebbs and flows. But it's really fun to see the growth of Balcones, because it is very much a network of people. Tommy, he's oversees all production as site director. He lives here in Waco with his family, and it's really cool to see how people have grown personally, but the business, if you will, right? It is a business after all, has grown with it as well. So it's a team of people, even people that have left to go do cooler, better things outside of Balcones with other businesses or other distilleries. It's definitely not about one person. It's a creative network of good people, because we all want to work with good people. Yeah. We don't want to work with
people doing good things.
Good people doing good things.
Yeah. Good people doing good things.
Put that on the billboard somewhere.
That's the new Balcones unofficial slogan.
You heard it. No, just kidding. We can't make that decision.
We can't say that.
But it'll spark an idea. There you go.
That's amazing. Well, of course. And now give us all of your social media where we can find you, find more information about you, all the things.
So the best way to keep in touch with Balcones is going to be, at least right now, probably through Instagram. We are pretty active in a number of ways on the Balcones Distilling page, the Balcones Waco page, and you can always direct message through either of those channels. We're pretty active there. We're on Facebook. We've walked back a little bit from Twitter. Do we call it Twitter anymore?
I don't know.
Is it X?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Come on, Elon.
Thanks, Elon. Yeah. And then, of course, we come visit us. Just come hang out. We do share a lot of insights and questions, comments, concerns through an info box, info@balconesdistilling.com. So if anybody ever finds anything they do or don't like or ask questions about, we are pretty active there too. So you can find us there. Most of us are on social media too, our own personal social media. So we're usually pretty chatty on those as well. You can find us there. And we can talk about life and whiskey. And
what's better than that? Life and whiskey.
There you go.
The two things you need.
Beer.
And beer.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us today. Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners? Now's your soapbox moment.
Soapbox moment. I don't know. I think keep supporting local businesses because everybody needs it. Be kind to each other.
Come drink some whiskey.
Go drink some whiskey. Have a beer. Drink responsibly, though. Drink some water. It's good for your body. Go support Hellberg. I don't know. There's a lot of people that need lots of support. So whether that's good words, using your money wisely to go support other people. I don't know. Thanks for letting me come hang out.
Yes, of course. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.